Nearly a fifth of South Carolinians struggle with some form of substance abuse, but one organization has been committed to supporting recovery, prevention, and outreach since 2016. Well, we want to welcome a familiar face to all of us, Dean Stevens. He is the Director of Development for WakeUp Carolina, and of course, you know him as the legendary news anchor who I had the privilege of working with during his more than 30-year TV career.
That's what makes it legendary, that I stayed so long.
That
right?
is true.
30 years.
That is true.
Is that what it is?
Yes,
Yeah,
but you've gone on to do some pretty profound things since then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, it's a treat for me to see you, of course, but I think our audience can benefit by knowing that WakeUp Carolina exists.
Yeah.
I mean, it has been around. It's going to be celebrating 9 years this year.
Yep, started in Mount Pleasant, and you know, and it's ironic because I got to know Nancy, our founder and executive director, in the fall of 2016 after her 19-year-old son Creighton passed of a fatal overdose, and when I was working at Channel 4, and I noticed right off the rip, she was about a month after he passed. I saw a little article in the Moultrie News, and she was at a coffee shop, and she was talking to other moms, sharing her story and her journey, and being in recovery for a while and having kids that have gone through trauma, it all just resonated with me, and I reached out and I said, hey, I'm just blown away by where you are and what you're doing and what you're sharing, and I'd love for you, if you want to do something for the TV side of it, I'd love to do it. And so she said yes, and we produced that story, and probably was one of the most impactful stories I was ever a part of and produced, and to be able to, and from that point on a friendship was made. We partnered with her on a lot of different things when I was working at Channel 4. And so that relationship just grew, and then I watched her nonprofit grow, and you know, with support groups, for instance, right? And I love the story is that she called one day and she said, we just started this mother's group, a mother's support group. Would you come do a story with us just to raise awareness and let people know? So I said, absolutely. So I go in, and you know, there were 4 or 5 moms that were okay being on TV and sharing their story. And one of the moms, there was a mom sitting at home who had an adult son in substance use and was struggling. Yeah. And so Brenda found out about the meeting, went to the meeting, and she's now our family director. That's and incredible. Works with us, right? And so it's that ripple effect that we've seen and that I've experienced through those years working with Nancy and Channel 4, and then the opportunity to come work for her a year and a half ago and open up our second location.
And the connection for you, it's certainly a profound one, because you have been very candid in the past about your own struggles with addiction. So do you find that it takes someone who's been there and understands to be able to help those who are struggling with it today?
Great question. So, you know, what we do and what we believe in is matching people and putting people with lived experience, right? So if you walked in and you were a mom and your son or daughter is struggling, right? I'm not the appropriate person for you, right? I can sit down and have a conversation with you and then direct you to the next person, and then that person would be in touch with you. And again, that's just Nancy's brilliance, and what she's created here is that we're gonna match you with somebody and put you with somebody that understands the journey that you've been on, right?
And so about a year and a half ago, you opened up a location in Moncks Corner.
We did.
And I've seen the statistics. It has grown. The need is there.
Absolutely.
And who do you serve typically in Moncks Corner?
We serve everyone.
Yeah.
Right. And so Nancy came to me at the end of 23 and asked me if I would come join their team and help open up that space, because there were very few services in that county. It's the largest county in our state, and so to be able to walk in there and, you know, with the help of our team, but then also the community, and I can't even express how important that's been, that when we walked into that town to say, hey, we're setting up this nonprofit, this is what we do, the embrace and the arms and the hands that reached out to us to help, you know, coroner's office in the town, the county, all of those people come together to be able to create this magic, right? And I say magic because, you know, in that year and a half time, we have on Monday nights, we have an all recovery meeting for people who are looking for help. On Tuesday nights, we do a dad's group, a mother's group. We also have Smart Recovery, which is another extension, of a recovery program. And on Wednesdays, we do the veterans group.
And I've had the privilege of actually sitting there in that building. It's a calm,
and what do you think?
Warm,
when you walked in there,
welcoming place.
You had any idea?
I had no idea whatsoever, but sitting there and just having a conversation with you, I just felt like I was in a safe place.
Yep.
And that's what people need.
And
they find themselves kind of lost in the abyss when they're going through something like
Absolutely.
this, whether it's a death or a continuous struggle, and to be able to be in a safe place and have others that you can relate to.
Yes.
With that beacon of hope that is there through the shared experience.
Yeah, and so that one word is a big word for us, is hope.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's always hope, and that's where, you talked about the death, right? We have a grief and loss support group that meets twice a month. And to be able to reach to those families and say, we're here for you. We have people who have gone through this, will help you walk along this journey. And because what we want to do is give them hope. Because I know there's hope, right? Because I was hopeless. I felt hopeless. And so I'm living proof, right? Nancy's the same way. The people that we work with feel the same thing.
Thriving proof.
Thank you.
Let's face it.
Thanks.
Well, we need to take a break, but when we come back, I want to talk about some of the challenges that we're facing now because of the fentanyl and opioid crises. So let's do that in 2 minutes, okay? We'll be right back. Welcome back. We've been talking with Dean Stevens. He is Development Director of WakeUp Carolina. We're talking about the services that this fantastic organization is providing the Lowcountry and truly the rest of the state. You say it's available for anyone. So whether you're in the area or not, you're there to support people who are going through addiction, substance abuse, death, just some of the darkest times in people's lives. What are some of the challenges? We mentioned the statistics of substance abuse is going up.
Right.
And we're seeing not technically overdoses, but poisoning as a result of fentanyl making its way through the supply. But then the opioid crisis, which is strictly addiction. So what is the challenge right now that we're facing as far as substances are concerned?
Well, I think the biggest challenge in the game changer has been fentanyl.
Yeah.
Because fentanyl has been found in most every illicit street drug there is, right? Cocaine, meth, pressed pills, another huge problem. Because again, there's pills on our street. I give you this pill and go, hey, I just got this ADHD pill, Ritalin. You want it? Yeah. Right? Yeah. You're like, yeah, I'll take it. And I share the story when I present to schools. It happened outside of Atlanta. A year ago this past May, a 15-year-old sold 2 Ritalin pills to 2 girls in class, and one girl took it, both took it, one came back, overdose, died in class because it had fentanyl in it, right? So that is a huge challenge. Again, THC, it's found in everything, you name it, and it's there. The good news is, and the hope is, and being community distributors of Narcan reverses the effects of an overdose, is that we're able to be out in the community with our community partners and be able to share that. And through the Berkeley County Overdose Fatality Review Board, which we're a part of, that's started by the coroner's office, we put up 25 different nalox boxes all across the county. Oh, okay. At volunteer fire stations, at the YMCA in Cane Bay. And so those boxes are stocked with Narcan. And anybody can have access to it.
So you can just go access it, keep it on you.
Keep it on you, keep it in your car. And then it comes back to your question, right? Stigma is a huge barrier, right? And so, again, I think we talk about it more than we did 10 years ago, probably maybe more than 5 years ago. Why I'm so open about my recovery, I'm not ashamed by it, right? I don't, any of it. And so, but when I called a couple of friends at the YMCA and I said, hey, we're putting these nalox boxes out, do you want them? And their instant answer was yes. Yeah. Right? And we had those up a day later.
They recognize the need.
Correct. Yeah. And so again, we're gonna have the opportunity to train their folks and how to use it. And so there's gonna be barriers in everything. Sure. But because of our partners and that belief that we can only do this together, right? We can
Indeed.
try to do it by ourselves.
What about education? Because you mentioned the children, their babies in the classroom dying from these overdoses,
absolutely.
poisonings. So I think education is a huge component of what you do.
Education awareness is huge, and so again, I'm proud to be able to go into schools and present to anybody that asks. And in those trainings and in those presentations, we'll go through Narcan. We'll go through the Good Samaritan Law, which allows you to call police if somebody's gone down and you're not charged with any substance that may be on the scene. Mm-hmm. But what I always say to them is, if you want Narcan, all you have to do is come by our office, right? I've put you through this little training. And 9 times out of 10, these high school kids are showing up in our Mount Pleasant office picking up Narcan, right?
But what happened to the Just Say No era?
It was an era. How about that?
We need to revive it.
It was just it was an era. But I mean, I know for me, I was well educated in addiction through my life, and I didn't.
It's different then, though. Like you said,
it's different
fentanyl
now.
is making its way into everything.
Correct. The addicted brain doesn't know any different, and it doesn't discriminate, and that's the other part of what we do, and the number of people that we reach, in our Mount Pleasant office with all the meetings and gatherings that we have there, is that it's not the guy living under a bridge, drinking, a beer out of a brown paper bag, right? Yeah. It's the businessman, it's the banker, it's the teacher, it's the mom, it's the dad, it's the kids,
That's true.
And so to be able to reach them. And we do on a daily basis is incredibly powerful.
It really is. How do people find out more information?
So you can go to wakeupcarolina.org.
Okay.
ORG, wakeupcarolina.org.
And what's next for you?
So we've got August is a huge month. It's Overdose Awareness Day. So we do 2 separate events, one in Moncks Corner on the 26th. And then one in Mount Pleasant on the 28th, which is, I think this is our 9th year to do it. Last year in Berkeley County was the first time we did it. We honor those people who have lost their life to a substance, and we also honor their families. We put luminary bags up. We had 100 people that come out in Moncks Corner last year. Wow. And the thing that we kept hearing was, I don't feel alone anymore. And that promise that Nancy and her kids made to Creighton at his hospital was that no person, no family will ever take this walk alone. And I've never been involved with an organization where you stand on that promise every day. And we keep that promise for the last 8 years, and it is why we are today.
Dean Stevens, it's a great
Thanks
note
for
to
the
end on.
opportunity.
Thank you very much.
It's great to see you.
Great to see you too.
Thanks.
We'll be back after this.